Hi everybody, I have been on the road a lot. I'm kind of sick today. I'm actually flying again tonight. So let's see how this sickness treats me. So today I want to talk about spring summer wardrobe. Like I'm starting to plan out my spring summer wardrobe. Hopefully you guys are too, because you should always start this stuff a little bit early. And you know, I've been on the road a lot. And one of the places I went to recently, which was really just like inspiring and incredible and beautiful, was the Dominican Republic. You know, because the Armoury is technically a dealer of Davidoff cigars here in Hong Kong through our cigar lounge called the Armoury Study. And so they brought me there to see the farms and see the country and see their whole setup. And you know, it was inspiring. It was beautiful. Not just how they run their company and how they make the cigars, but also just like the palette and the vibe of the Dominican Republic was amazing. Like really just like so interesting. And it's really stuck in my head, even though it's been a couple weeks since I went. It's really stuck in my head. And there's like certain colors, and I'm gonna throw up the images that I took, because I took a ton of photos on this trip. I'm gonna throw up the images I took. I'm gonna show you like my own personal like chase for these colors in terms of like clothing that I could wear that not only kind of recreates that color, that feeling, that vibe, but also might actually look good as a garment, you know, because there's certain colors that it might look great in like the great outdoors, but it would look terrible as a thing you wear. All right, so let's start. So there were like three main colors that really stuck in my mind. One is this kind of shade of like green to pistachio, and it was not like grassy knoll vibrant green. It was like a little bit dusty and a little bit like rustic almost. So I think what I'm looking for, right, is something that's like green to yellow, maybe even the two mixed together. That's one. The other is gold. You know, it's something about like the sunlight there and the fact that everything was like a little washed out from the sun. There's like a certain shade of gold that I'm looking for. And you see it not just in the buildings, but also in the crops, also in the vegetation and the land. So I'm looking for that. And then finally, I'm looking for a shade of blue. And there's probably two interpretations for the shade of blue. One interpretation is the sort of blue that you get really like close to sunrise, right? Sun hasn't fully come out yet. The light's not gone fully blue. It almost has like, the light has not gone fully yellow. Like it still has a little bit of the blue from like the evening time spilling over the daylight. I'm like trying to find that shade of blue. And then the other shade of blue I'm trying to find is like a vibrant blue that's just been completely like soaked in sunlight for so long that it's faded into this beautiful and soft, perfect color. Okay, so let's get into it. Starting with the gold. The shade of gold, the shade of yellow. I dug through a lot of stuff. As you can see, this is basically, I think something in here is gonna work. I really like this. I think this is really interesting. So this is from Drapers' Montecarlo book. And it's an unusual shade, like it's very rich. It's almost like honey. And I think it's wearable, actually. I'm just debating whether that should be a jacket or a suit. I think it could be either, so I might just make a whole suit out of it and see how I fare. That's one option. Or I do always love looking at Loro Piana because they always have such an incredible palette. I think that's really interesting also. And that's more like flax. Like it's a little lighter, almost oatmeal. To me, oatmeal wouldn't be so yellow. So this is more like flax, almost oatmeal. I do like that. I think this is kind of interesting. It's reminiscent of old buildings to me. You know, old buildings in the sunshine. I can't decide if I really would wear that pattern myself, but I do think it's an interesting combination. So there we go. Those are my three sort of yellow gold picks right there. Yeah. Moving on from that, I mentioned like some shade of gold, pistachio. I really like this. I think this is super interesting. This is out of Piacenza's Dunes suit book. So these are suitings that have been made using baby camel hair. And this is really interesting because it has, you know, it's Solaro effect, deep green on the back, but then kind of a khaki on the front. And I just think that looks really good. Like I could really imagine that as a suit. In fact, when I first saw it, I was like a little worried that, oh, it might be too similar to this, to the Solaro that I normally wear. So I grabbed that out as well. So this is the Drapers Beau Soleil Solaro. And as you can see, you know, I always characterize this as like a relatively olive colored Solaro, but it's definitely nowhere near as green as this. I really think this could be a banger if it's done. So that's one particular shade of green. But I also was looking through this. This, I believe, is the Supersonic book. Yes, this is the Supersonic book. And in the Supersonic book, there's like this one shade of pistachio green. I think it's interesting. I don't know if it's exactly the color I'm looking for, but I think it's interesting. There's also, oops, dropped another book on the floor. There's also the Rainbow book. And I have not spent a ton of time in the Rainbow book, but man, that is like beautiful, like super vibrant green. It's not necessarily a color I saw in Dominican Republic, but I just think it's a very attractive shade of green. I think it's a very interesting color, you know, not so gray, like a little bit more on the yellow side and quite deep and saturated. So have a look at all of those three together while I grab this off the floor. And then finally, let's look at that blue. So with that blue that I was talking about earlier, I really need to get a bigger table. So with that blue, I mean, you know me, like Art Dulan is always a first port of call for me. I've always wanted to make a suit in this particular shade. I just really like it. I think it's really kind of easy to wear. I want it to be a little more vibrant though. And I'll show you the challenge that I had trying to find something a little bit more vibrant. So, you know, something a little more vibrant, a little more rich. I think you should always go and look at some mohairs as well. I really like the stand even mohairs. So there's the stand even mohair, but it's almost a little too, I don't know. I don't know if it's quite there yet. That's the stand even carnival mohair. There's another one I like, but it's almost a little too yellow. So you can kind of see like the problem I'm having here. It's like a lot of these blues are interesting, definitely interesting, but whether they're like something you could actually wear is a different story. And I think actually I might have ended up here. This is the Stand Even Festival book, and I think that's the one for me. It's a little bit more subdued. Like you look at it and you understand that it's blue, you understand that it has that sort of sunny shade to it, but it's a little bit more wearable because it's a little bit more saturated. And I do like that texture, you know, plus it'll be a great summer weight, like 8 ounce, 235 gram. Yeah, so there you go. That's part of my thinking so far for the spring-summer, my personal spring-summer collection. And listen, I encourage everybody to start thinking about their spring-summer wardrobes, thinking about like, you know, what are the colors they want to be using this season, because it's just fun, you know, it's just fun to be able to make something beautiful and then have it on your body. All right. Would love to hear what you think of these colors. Would love to know how you guys would put them together yourselves. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.